Hey guys, welcome to Great Learning. Business intelligence is a domain that is growing at an explosive pace. The analytics that you can derive from this domain and its powerful insights are giving numerous individuals and organizations the chance to explore this domain deeply. Now, just like any other domain, here in business intelligence as well, you have many tools and techniques and whatnot. Now, Tableau and Power BI are household names when it comes to business intelligence, right? Well, what are some of the key differences that exist between Tableau and Power BI, you ask? Well, we are gonna answer this super important question with this comparison video. Make sure to watch till the end of the video to completely grasp all the important differences. Well, with that, I know you guys are super excited to get started. Well, what are we waiting for? My name is Anirudh Rao. Let's get started.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This is done to make sure you do not miss out on any of the new updates or video releases from Great Learning. And of course, guys, if you enjoy this video, show us some love and do like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, right? So make sure you share this video with your friends, colleagues, and everyone who can make use of it. And at the end of it, make sure to comment on the video if you have any queries or any suggestions, and I'll be more than happy to respond to all of your comments.
Alright guys, so let's get started by having a quick introduction to both these tools, right? We're gonna start out with Tableau. Now, what is Tableau and where do we use Tableau? Well, Tableau is considered to be one of the world's most fastest growing data visualization tool. Now, for all of you all who might not know what a data visualization tool is, it is basically a tool that helps you take in a lot of data, analyze it, crunch the numbers, and eventually convert these numbers into beautiful looking graphs, charts, and dashboards that you can use to easily derive insights, find the hidden patterns, and do whatnot, right? So it does a lot of things, it packs a lot of punch. Now, to answer the question why you would even require data visualization, think about this instance where you're at a meeting with your manager or with your client or someone, and you have two options to present the data. One is we are showing them an Excel workbook which consists of maybe 50,000 rows and columns, and the next way is to basically show them 10 different graphs which will give you all the insights that you would get by just looking at that impossibly large data set or something like that, right? Now, which would you pick? You would definitely say data visualization, right? Now, wherever you can have numbers that can be analyzed, data visualization can be implemented everywhere there, right? Now, in today's world, that is, again, in all of the other domains, right from healthcare all the way to digital marketing, any domain that you can think of that will give you certain trackable metrics, you can run graphs on them and you can eventually visualize, assess, and perform in-depth visualization, right? Now, Tableau is one such beautiful tool that will help you do that, especially in the domain of business intelligence, right? You're basically talking about how well you can crunch data and eventually how efficiently you can get towards having a usable visualization output that will give you certain insights which you might have not gotten with the use of the naked eye, right? So that's very important. Now, Tableau is a tool that is super popular among researchers, certain professional individual users, and of course, even on the enterprise grade. Now, individuals, enthusiasts, all are fine, but when you think about Tableau being used for enterprise, it showcases that Tableau is a very powerful tool, right? Because on the lines of enterprise usage, what it means is that you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, large companies which are worth billions and trillions of dollars. These guys are the ones who will be using these tools on a daily basis, right? So the tool has to be very robust, and Tableau definitely is. Now, when you think about how the domain of business intelligence is spread out, what are the top tools, who owns the market and all of that, one very important thing for you to understand is that in the fight between Tableau and Power BI, which are the two top business intelligence tool we have, Tableau is slightly ahead because it holds a bigger chunk of the market, right? So when you directly compare the number of users of Tableau and number of users of Power BI, the Tableau number is going to be very high, and I'm going to be showing you all these details in the comparison ahead as well. Now, Tableau is a very good tool at helping you perform data analysis to a good extent because of the way the tool itself is built, right? Now, there are tools out there which are specifically built for certain purposes, and Tableau is again a specific purpose-built tool to help you go from handling a large amount of data all the way to deriving meaningful insights, having dashboards, creating beautiful looking aesthetic and at the same time really powerful reports and whatnot, right? So what are some of the really nice features that Tableau brings to the table? Well, if your requirement says, hey, we do have to perform a lot of real-time data analysis, think about cricket matches, think about football matches, right? As and when the match itself is happening, you do see a lot of graphs, you do see a lot of visualizations, right? So that's real-time. There's a small gap, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever it is, but it has to pick up a ton of data, assess, analyze, and give you results immediately, right? So Tableau is a tool which is very good at doing that. Now, it's only half the story that you would create beautiful looking dashboards, but if you do not have a convenient way to share them, it's an inconvenience, right? Well, with respect to Tableau, they do offer the ability for you to actually go on to share these dashboards and reports that you have created in an easy manner. So when your client, probably sitting 3,000 miles away, wants to see what the dashboard looks like, or wants to have a convenient way to access the dashboard and report, well, you can share it across any medium that you would like, right? And there are some people who would have gotten into the world of data visualization just because of the fact that they might not really like programming on a daily basis. Well, not to fret with the case of Tableau, because here you can actually work with the database and you can query the database to a good extent without actually having to use any sort of coding. That's a huge advantage with respect to Tableau. And whenever you might think that, hey, writing queries for a database can get really complex, right? Not really. With the case of Tableau, it actually is very easy to go from query to visualization, and the entire step of you starting to write the query while ending at a visualization is something which is completely taken care of with respect to their workflow. So it's actually a very good thing here. Now, another important point all of you all should consider is that in today's world, a lot of us use mobile phones for almost everything, right? Right from shopping to watching Netflix to whatever it is. Now, when you bring in the productive aspect of things, I do find myself working a lot on my mobile phone. Now, similarly, there are thousands, if not millions of people out there who would love to do this and who are doing this, right? So not every time that it would be inconvenient for you to basically open up your laptop, fire up a couple of softwares, and eventually then start looking at your dashboard. What if there was an easy way to make sure that all the people who are using their mobile phone devices can actually have a fantastic optimized mobile phone optimized way to actually take a look at all these dashboards and reports? Well, Tableau has that covered for you as well, right? So Tableau is a very, very well-rounded tool, but we really need to take a look at how it stands against another giant who is Power BI, right? Now, Power BI is basically Microsoft's direct competitor to Tableau, right? Tableau was the biggest in the domain of business intelligence, just like how AWS was and is still the biggest in the world of cloud computing. And Microsoft is slowly trickling themselves into these domains wherein they are trying to bring the best of their creativity and skills to give the users one more tool that they can have a choice of, right? So now you have a choice between Tableau, Power BI, and of course there's a lot of other business intelligence tools as well. So what these guys are doing at Microsoft is, this is their flagship product, right? There is nothing better than this that Microsoft could have given us, and it's a very, very well-rounded tool, right? I absolutely love working with Power BI, and when you take a look at how fast it is growing, how popular it is getting in the recent times, you have to understand that in the near future, and in fact many people right now consider it to be the number one tool for business intelligence, right? Now, to be called as the number one business intelligence tools, it definitely has to pull its weight, because at the end of the day, when you take a look at data processing, right from us bringing in data all the way to us providing visualization, there is one very important step you have to understand. Just saying that, hey, we can bring in data is something very simple, but actually doing it and bringing in data from like 100 different sources in a seamless manner, right, in a way where it wouldn't take a lot of time and effort, that is where Power BI is outshining its competition, right? So data ingestion from multiple sources is an absolute breeze for a tool such as Power BI. And Microsoft is a giant in the world of cloud computing, right? They are the second best. Some people definitely, state that Microsoft is the best. But when you think about AWS and Microsoft, that's a different story. But you have to understand that Azure is an extremely powerful cloud computing environment. And with respect to Power BI as well, Power BI can extend so much of its functionality because it has the backing and it has the foundation and it has the support from, again, this super powerful cloud computing environment, which is nothing but the Microsoft Azure cloud, right? So you can have any sort of extension with its features, and maybe other BI tools are limited because they are a standalone software and they have to work in a small realm of applications and spaces. But with respect to how Power BI can work, it can expand because it has all the processing power, all the storage requirements, everything absolutely necessary to make it the world's most powerful BI tool out there, right? So what are some of these key features of Power BI then? Well, Power BI has its own set of beautiful features because at the end of the day, when we are looking for a tool wherein we are taking in a lot of data and we have to create dashboards and reports, you have to find the best way to do it, and your report should be done in a way where as soon as someone sees it, they understand what is going on, right? So ability to deliver customized, highly customized dashboards is something that Power BI can do really well. So if your requirement says, hey, I want a tool wherein I can take up all the data, perform analysis in a simple manner, and at the end of the day, that entire process of generating the reports, creating the dashboards, for me, that needs to be really easy. If you're a person who would go on to have that requirement or who would champion that, then Power BI is a tool you must be looking at, right? Now, after creating all these dashboards and all of that, there are certain trends that you can analyze, certain patterns you can look at when you actually read a graph. In fact, I'm going to show you a graph that you guys can read yourself and make assessments on it, right? So, Power BI is a tool that has the capability to automatically indicate certain trends, certain things that might happen. One tool gaining immense amount of popularity, another tool has a declining user base, right? So all of this, Power BI can automatically pick up from the dashboard that it itself created and eventually give you all these results in a clear and a concise manner. That is something which is very important. Now, another thing that a lot of people tend to miss is for the fact that these tools, these extremely powerful tools, can sometimes get a little complex to use, right? So whenever you're picking up a tool for either individual use or for enterprise grade applications, you have to understand what is the support that the tool is giving you to help you learn it better, right? If in case you're working with a part of the tool you got stuck, are there any helpers in the tool that will help you actually get across and navigate hard waters, right? That is something you have to think about. And as you might have already been aware, Microsoft has created dozens of products used by billions of people. When that is the case, they are that big because of the fact that they have fantastic documentation out there. And similarly, for the case of Power BI, that holds true as well, right? Now, at this moment of time, we've come to a conclusion that Tableau is a giant in the industry and Power BI packs a huge punch. So when we have to compare these two and understand what are some of the key differences that lie between them, where do we start, right? I think the first point we really have to talk about is the fundamental working. Now, when you think about the overall picture of taking in data all the way to visualization, if you want a very structured pipeline through which you or your team can actually sit and finish up all of these tasks and create good looking dashboards, Tableau is a tool that you will be taking a look at. But if you're a person who says, hey, I really do not want to get into the macros of the tool, but I just want to have the ability to analyze something to a very good amount of detail. If your requirement says, hey, I have to have an in-depth look at my data set and I'm going to be pulling out insights left and right from it, if that is your choice, then Power BI is a tool that you will be taking a look at. But if you're a person who's concentrating on the bigger picture, if you're a person who says, I want to handle everything easily right from the process of ingestion all the way to execution and delivery, then Tableau is actually considered to be a more popular offering, right? And then the second point, data handling capacity. Of course, data handling capacity should be a very important comparison point, because at the end of the day, let me tell you, Tableau and Power BI handle data pretty differently, right? If your requirement says, hey, I have a ton of data that I need to process, and I need a tool which is lightning quick with respect to processing a large in caps, a large amount of data, again, Tableau is a tool you should be considering, because the way it picks up data, stores it, and helps you analyze and assess is not only lightning quick, but at the same time it is also very, very efficient on your desktop machine, server, or whatever it is, right? So both ways it is working in your favor for large amounts of data. Now, Power BI, on the other hand, is more of an in-depth analytical tool, which at the end of the day, yes, will give you access to, really, really powerful queries and all the techniques that you would require to perform in-depth analysis. But when you directly compare Power BI to Tableau's capability of data handling, some people, experts definitely consider that there is a slight room for improvement with respect to how Power BI can do it. So at this point of time, if you're a person who says, I want to handle a large amount of data, and if that is a key requirement, eyes closed, you should definitely take a look at Tableau. But then again, you guys head to the comment section and you let me know what you think about data handling capacity and its importance for you as an individual and for a company as well. Right? Fantastic. Coming to the third point. Third point talks about customer support and help. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whenever there is any new tool on the market, the first thing that people will look at is what is the customer support, what is the help that the tool can provide you, right? Because at the end of the day, when you have new people learning on it, there are going to be places where even a professional can get stuck and sometimes would require help, right? So with respect to Tableau has an amazing, a robust support network across the world, wherein it is very easy to help their developers build the tools better, help their users understand and work with the tool better, and of course they have a very big community, which again at the end of the day contributes to the product itself and to all the people learning and using the tool around them, right? So that's Tableau. What about Power BI? Well, Power BI provides top-notch support. It's Microsoft at the end of the day, right? So they do provide the best of the best support when it comes to the paid tiers of the product, right? Now, if you're a person who's using Power BI free, the free tier version of Power BI, the support is definitely considered to be slightly limited. But of course, you get the full beans, the entire picture. If you're a person who's using the paid tiers or the enterprise grade tiers, you get top-notch support. But as learners, as individuals, when you're starting to pick up the tool, there's a very good chance you might be starting out with the free tier, right? That is where the lack of customer support might throw some people off, and this definitely is covered in Tableau, because Tableau has been here for a longer time and they've been doing this for a really long time. So they have an understanding of the audience, they know where people might get stuck, and they're eventually helping to bridge all these gaps that exist there, right? Now, coming to a very important point, which is feature extension. Ladies and gentlemen, when I talk about feature extension, it is about bringing in the power of other domains to extend the functionality of the tool. With the help of Tableau can basically work with a third-party cloud architecture. If you have an on-premise network that you want all the data stored there to actually talk to your Tableau interface, that is possible to do. But at the end of the day, you are going to require a good amount of setup. You need to make sure everything is working fine, all the data pipelines must be set up, you need to have a couple of middlewares that will help your server talk to Tableau, and there's so much complexity involved there, right? So to add one point to the bag of Power BI, here is where Power BI kicks its brings in the entire power, right? Because Power BI is a tool that is backed by the Microsoft Azure platform, as I told you. So any development that can happen in the future, right, where someone says, hey, I need more compute power, where someone says, hey, I need to handle larger amounts of data, if the tool in its standalone mode cannot handle it, there is always the backing of an almost unlimited source of compute power and storage methodologies that Microsoft Azure provides, wherein in the near future, Power BI is definitely the biggest contender for for the entire domain of business intelligence because of this ability that it is backed by a really strong force, right? So for modern day business intelligence, of course, people are going to say, hey, I have more data I want to process. They're going to say, hey, I need a way to create more graphs, more dashboards, and eventually have real-time analysis all at the same time with one tool doing everything, right? And of course, having a cloud computing architecture and a complete network behind you for support, I think Power BI can definitely this is something you should look forward to the future of Power BI as well. Right now, coming to talk about the user base, since you guys are watching this video, I am sure you'll be curious to understand who uses what, right? Well, with respect to Tableau is a tool which is very well rounded for a complete end-to-end application. Now in that case, what happens is that the learning curve for Tableau might be a bit steep, and the users that you find using Tableau are the ones who are professionals who have already been working in the business intelligence domain, right? So experienced users in Tableau and Power BI is extremely popular in today's world, especially as the go-to tool for beginners out there, right? So for anyone who might be starting out, who's new into analytics, who's new into business intelligence, numerous articles around the globe and around the internet as well will make sure that it will somehow will tell you, hey, you should really start learning Power BI because it has amazing documentation. The user interface is absolutely beautiful to work with, and if you are a person who has never worked on tools in that domain, right, they have ensured to make your process of getting up to speed with the tool is actually very easy, and you can get started with the domains. And once you understand the get-go of how Power BI works in detail, then probably making a switch to Tableau will be a good choice, because again, as I told you, it comes with its own learning curve, right? So with respect to user base, Tableau sees a lot of experienced professionals, while Power BI sees a mix of both beginners and of course super professional people working with this tool as well. The next thing you need to consider is the user interface and the user experience that each of these tools drive, right? With respect to Tableau, as I just told you, Tableau's user interface is slightly complex for a beginner and for a newbie to learn. And when you are a person who set out to say, hey, I am going to completely master Tableau, this is where you will have to deal with that steep learning curve. You have to put in a lot of time. And for a beginner, this can definitely lead to a bad user experience because at the end of the day, you're just trying to find the fastest and the best way to not just work with the tool but enjoy the tool and ensure that you're delivering powerful solutions, right? So it's really important for you to understand this point. In the case of Power BI, however, Power BI follows this entire easy to use philosophy, just like all the other Microsoft products out there, wherein you can find that in the Power BI tool, with all the menus, all the options, all the features that it provides, it will give you multiple hints of what the feature will do even before you click on it. In the menu, you can start guessing what are the items that are there and what each of them will start doing, right? So this kind of a feel good user experience that it provides is very, very critical for people to actually latch onto the tool and eventually start using it to drive powerful solutions, right? So this is implemented, in my opinion, really well with respect to Power BI, and Tableau is a very, very good tool. Don't get the wrong impression here, but at the end of the day, to get to a point where you have complete mastery over the tool, well, that you will have to slightly probably take a hit with respect to the user experience to just cross those hard learning steps to get to that point, right? So this definitely is something that you should take a look at. The next point that we're going to discuss is to understand the key purpose of these tools, right? Now, if you're a person who says, hey, I want to have a business intelligence tool wherein maybe I just want to use it as a tool wherein I have my own data. I just want to use it as a data storage tool and eventually start picking up data from one source. I just assess it, perform some basic visualizations and start putting out, visualizations. Tableau is a good choice, but when you take a look at a requirement which says, hey, data ingestion analysis is not really the thing that I want to concentrate on. What I want to concentrate on is actually performing in-depth analysis on a very complex data set that I might have. Or you might be a person who says, hey, I want to also be performing reporting, probably find the most in-depth way of how you can report the solution to a problem maybe in 10 different ways, and you just want to have that extra customization. You want to have the extra option to to deliver the result in multiple ways than just saying, hey, I just want to store data and assess it, right? When that is your requirement, again, here I cannot pick the best, because you might be a person who's saying I have a large amount of data, then you go towards Tableau. If you're a person who says, I really want to concentrate upon customization of reports, dashboards and all of that, you take your direction towards Power BI side. So though this step is actually left to all of you all. The next thing, this is where again, there is a slight difference between Tableau and Power BI, because Tableau, in the case of querying language is basically what you use to talk to the databases, to talk to the data points, and it's almost like asking a question to the database and getting an answer. That's why it's called as a query, right? So in this case, the basic difference lies in between the fact that Tableau uses something called as MDX, or multidimensional expressions, to query the databases. Now both MDX and, as you can see, Power BI uses something called DAX, or data analysis expressions. These are pretty similar to each other, but again, when you talk about learnability, when you talk about how quickly you can get up to speed with these tools and how easily readable is it, how understandable is it, in my opinion, even though they are very different for they do two different things, at the end of the day, DAX is more closely aligned towards beginners. DAX is basically beginner friendly, to ensure that someone who has never had any experience with business intelligence before can, in my opinion, pick up Power BI more easily because of DAX, rather than picking up Tableau, which uses MDX, right? So what do you think, MDX versus DAX? Guys, head to the comment section and let me know what you think about this particular point and what your preference is, right? That is very important. Now, after that, we have to talk about data ingestion, right? Because if you're a person who says, hey, I'm going to bring in data from multiple sources, and I just want to make sure that I have the easiest way to go about doing it, Tableau and Power BI both are giving you options to do this. Because with respect to Tableau, you have the capability to actually connect with multiple data sources at the same time, start pulling in data, store it in your local on-prem network if you want, and eventually work on it, assess, analyze, do whatever is required to put out the result, right? It is possible. It is advantageous in the case of Tableau. What about Power BI? Well, with respect to Power BI, Power BI is a tool which is still sort of playing a catch-up game, in my opinion, wherein they're adding more and more support every day, with every passing day, for how you can, just bring in data seamlessly from multiple sources and work with it, right? Of course, you cannot directly say, hey, Tableau brings its data from 10 sources, Power BI brings it from 12, so Power BI is the winner. Not really. The thing that you should be taking a look at is how easy is it for you as a user, as an experience, as a learner, that you're picking up all these data points and eventually storing it, and you're ready to perform your task without having to spend a ton of time just figuring out and fighting the tool as to how you can bring in data from multiple points, right? This is a super important point. Again, here there are no clear winners, but if you just have to pick one, I definitely would give the point out to Tableau for this round. Right? That brings us to the end of this comparison. We saw a lot of different points, right from what users are using, which tool, what tool is good at doing what. If you had a question at every point, I'm sure you would have, I would have done everything to answer that particular question that you might have. I know that you guys might have one more question which says, hey Anirudh, so what are some of these business intelligence tools that are trending today? And in fact, since you're discussing Tableau and Power BI, you might say, hey, so how do you compare Tableau and Power BI in terms of its popularity with respect to users around the world, right? Look at this. I got this from Google Analytics, and you can see for a fact that when you take a look at interest over time, I think this is a graph that shows the last 5 years, the data from the last 5 years. And as you can take a look at it, right, Power BI is gaining a ton of momentum, right? It's a graph. The red color is Power BI, the blue color is Tableau. Now, when you take a look at Power BI, you can see that the graph is on a steady rise. There will come a point in the next couple of months or years where both Tableau and Power BI are going to meet, and in my opinion, that paradigm shift is what will probably give Power BI the edge over Tableau, because this kind of a consistent development and this kind of this directly doesn't show you that, but at the end of the day, these are the number of people, these are the users who are interested in learning this tool, using it, finding help for it, documenting it, everything, right? So for Tableau, it is there. It's been a giant in the industry. It's going on fine. There is slight up and down, bullish and bearish stuff that you can take a look at. But look at Power BI, right? Right from a place where probably it had very minimal search volume all the way to ensuring that people want to use it. So Power BI is doing something right at the end of the day that is helping users take this call and say, hey, I think we should take a look at Power BI rather than Tableau to get started, right? This is a very, very important trend comparison that I thought I'd show you, because again, this is the result. As you can see, the data is from the last 5 years, and this is the worldwide result from the basic Google web search. So people are searching more for Tableau, but the number of people steadily searching for anything Power BI related is increasing, right? As I told you, there will come a point wherein these two might collide, and that is where Power BI might take the lead in the in the BI industry. Now, with that, you might have a question, right? We understood what these tools are, what are the key features, what is the comparison, how are the trends looking as well. So at this moment of time, you might have more questions than answers. You might say, hey, Anirudh, I understood all of this, but which one should I pick? Well, should you pick Tableau or Power BI? Well, let's talk about Tableau first, because if you are a person that says, hey, I want to handle a large amount of data, eyes closed, go towards Tableau at the moment, right? Because it is a tool that can do this very, very seamlessly. It is extremely quick at providing insights and results through which, again, you can derive multiple ways of visualizations, right? See, with respect to Power BI and Tableau, both are giving you similar visualizations, similar results, but the way you get to those results is where everything differs, right? Now, since we're taking in data, we're creating graphs, you must have the ability to basically tell a story with respect to data, right? And this kind of a storytelling approach closely aligns with what Tableau does, because again, it is purpose built for this. If you're a person who wants to, navigate around your data, build a story, give a connection, and, give it more of an appeal, well, guess what? Tableau should be the tool you should be considering, right? But it's not all bells and whistles when you actually take a look at the limitations, take a look at the last 2 points, because definitely with respect to Tableau, it costs a lot more money when you compare it to what Power BI is doing, right? So with respect to pricing, I don't want to show you guys the exact pricing because it definitely changes from country to country, and there's a very good chance with respect to COVID and all of that, the price keeps changing, right? So for pricing requirements, I would definitely suggest all of you all head to their websites, but the general consensus is for a fact that Tableau costs a lot more money than Power BI, be it licensing, handling, or whatever it is, right? And what is the support for futuristic domains such as machine learning and artificial intelligence? Tableau isn't doing a lot. It isn't making a needle moving impact when you take a look at how it can support ML related algorithms, tools, techniques, or even something that will let us achieve a good amount of artificial intelligence down the day, right? It is getting there, but maybe not at a pace that a lot of us would definitely want. So if your company is oriented around using ML and AI for the future, this is a point that you should consider as well. That's Tableau. What about Power BI? Well, with respect to Power BI, you have to understand one thing, right? Real-time reporting is everything. Think of that cricket example that I gave you at the start of the video, right? Whenever you're watching a cricket match, as soon as the ball is basically thrown, right? It takes for 2-3 seconds to actually give you a graph about the speed at which the ball traveled, the speed at which the bowler was running, and the way he delivers it, the pace of the ball, the angle of the ball, the momentum of the ball. Right? Literally everything it happens in a couple of seconds and you have that result, right? It's not like it's making you wait 15 minutes to see what happened to one ball that was thrown in the first over or something, right? Not really. It's instantaneous. So if real-time reporting is something that you and your company wants and your application asks for, then Power BI is a tool that I would suggest you consider. Next, when you talk about actually having the option to explore data, having the option to actually integrate with multiple other programming languages like Python and R, Power BI actually does it well. Now, Tableau can also integrate with languages such as Python and R, but you have to understand that Power BI, in my opinion, because I am a Python developer, I definitely write code in R programming language as well. So seeing how Power BI does it, in my opinion, can be slightly better. And of course, experts agree to this as well, right? Now, Another important place where Tableau might outshine Power BI is the fact of how you would be creating and sharing your reports, right? With respect to Power BI, it can probably only share reports to all the people who have maybe the same domain email and all of that. So there are certain limitations with respect to Power BI about how you can share your tools, how you can share your dashboards and reports across. With respect to Tableau, again, all of that is handled as well. Right now, again, it's not just bells and whistles, and as I told you, Power BI can have limited options with respect to sharing. And the other thing that you have to also think about is the maximum size of data that can be handled. Tableau can handle a large complex data set like it's nothing, while Power BI might it can also handle it probably, but it might find it slightly difficult, especially if your data is in larger chunks, right? Because your larger chunks get broken down into smaller bits, and that's how you get easy access to working with it. So in that case, if you have a very large chunk that Power BI cannot handle, well, it can be seen as a disadvantage of the tool, right? So these are my final thoughts on this comparison. As always, I want you guys to basically head to the comment section. Let me know what you would pick, Tableau or Power BI, and at the same time, let me know why you're going to be picking up these tools as well, right? So I'm more than excited to actually hear from all of you all in the comment section. And if you have any more points that you can think add value to this comparison, again, please head to the comment section and do put them down, right? On that note, guys, you've come to the end of this comparison video. My name is Anirudh Rao. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This is done to make sure you do not miss out on any of the new updates or video releases from Great Learning. And of course, guys, if you enjoy this video, show us some love and do like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, right? So make sure you share this video with your friends, colleague, and everyone who can make use of it. And at the end of it, make sure to comment on the video if you have any queries or any suggestions, and I'll be more than happy to respond to all of your comments.